advance, and the DeSantis versus Trump thing was always something that was there, but it wasn't too much. It sounded like noise rather than truly something that had substance to it. And then these last 4 days, it's been nonstop. It's been in your face. It seems to be the story, right? But once you get past a couple tweets and whatnot, there's really nothing there. You know what I mean? At this
Right.
point, you think as a whole and as a country, you know, DeSantis does, Trump is such a big personality just in the party alone.
Mm.
Why try to expedite your political career a la Paul Ryan and end up, flying too close to the sun and burning out too quickly? Where he can at least say it's not like Trump is running for 2 consecutive terms. We know at the max he can only have 4 more years. So it's the same thing with Joe Biden, right? Why is anybody bucking the system right now when they know in 2 years it's then the twilight of the term, whether he gets reelected or not. Why is nobody talking about Newsom versus Andrew Cuomo the same way we're talking about Trump and DeSantis? It's because they're trying to, I believe, they're trying to get DeSantis to think he's the shit, you know,
Mm.
and that
Hmm.
he is, I can take him on. When you look at it, he really didn't pioneer everything. He looks really good. He's got a good, um, the optics, right? But as far as policy, the only thing I would give him was that he didn't pull a Christy Nome and balk on the Disney thing. And even then it was symbolic rather than um, truly, so, I haven't heard like massive prosecution that came up out of it. You don't see, um, it was really that in the education. He did the education portion, but Florida's a little bit of a different breed. You got to look at Florida, Texas, New York, and California differently because they're almost like quasi-national, even if it's local or just at the state level. But it'll be interesting. He hasn't said anything, so I don't know if he's really pushing at it. But it's if he wants to, if he does have those aspirations long term, it would be the smarter play. And our country would be stronger because, think about it. If DeSantis goes, oh, I'm the man, takes the bait and decides to run, win or lose, he's not going to be the governor anymore.
Hmm.
Now Florida doesn't look so good as it does right now. You know what I mean? And where think about, if Trump had another term, if DeSantis takes this term and really focuses as the governor, like Carrie Lake will do at Arizona, like she's already said, I'm 8 years and I'm focusing on Arizona. If DeSantis does that for another term, the groundwork is impenetrable.
You said you had some questions that you brought in. I
Oh, I
believe.
just that whole FTX scandal that's going on right now. Um, Bakeman Freed, Sam Bakeman Freed, guy that started FTX exchange, crypto exchange,
Hmm.
uh, ran
Yeah, break
out
that down for us, some. Yeah.
Alameda too. Um, Basically, it was a scam the whole time. It was a Ponzi scheme. He took the said that he was going to be able to convert everything into crypto,
Hmm.
specifically Bitcoin, took all the cash and ran off to the Bahamas and lived luxuriously under the age of 30, and got all this praise about being uh, Forbes list, young hot shot type of guy, and it's all a fraud, and
Hmm.
the crypto's gone. And I've not been a crypto person, and I believe that this is um, a bigger story than people want to push to the fray, or they want to push it to the fray. because of how big it is and its implications to the greater financial system and how things work, and the fact that um, we a lot of it is on the promise of people we don't know and that are living very, very well off the money that we earn every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not it's it's a minority because it's not like they're all in these positions of industries. It's really centered into a few jobs, but that's what they're doing. They're taking our money, and then it gets bigger and bigger when you look at stuff like Ukraine, how they're taking that tax money and where is it going? And that's where the Democrats do win their votes and their base because it's very easy to keep saying vote for us, we'll fix the potholes and give you bridges and better access to health care. If they keep telling you over and over again, take that money and send it off to wherever for whatever means, and then come around the next time and give you the same spiel. Oh yeah, my potholes are still here. I need them fixed. Oh, okay. There's a lot of election tourists, and this one was really weird because 2020 burned out a lot of people. And as soon as, probably, especially around summer this year, and especially since football started coming back, you started seeing people tune out again.
Yeah, it
And
happens every year.
and now look what you're talking about. Now it's really easy to talk about Trump DeSantis and push that in there. Oh, people are talking about Trump DeSantis. I must have missed something. No, it just started today. And it just once you put it into the wind, there it goes.
Now,
And you got
go
people
ahead.
don't check out the most
Mhm.
important thing in this because it is a battle. I'm a very um, pretty outspoken dude, but it didn't take Tucker Carlson or Elon Musk or Kanye West to tell me what I know to be true or give me a sense of moral direction. I may agree with somebody, but the bottom line is what the populism movement is showing that it is us. We are a collective, but if you're not working on yourself and you're not providing self-sustaining, then that's where problems can arise. There's a crack. Okay, that's where the water is going to go. And it's going to make that crack bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then someone's going to come along and take an axe and just whack the crack, and now you have a divide. That's what I believe truly is the Trump DeSantis thing, like a true wedge artificially placed that they're trying to whack and crack because the left is splitting. We just saw that in this election.
Yes.
AOC and Elon Omar do not want to run around with Pelosi and Schumer anymore. There is a divide over there. But when you're trying to keep your house in that, and you're going to tell everyone, oh, well, look at their house. They haven't cut their lawn. Don't look at my stuff. A lot of diversion, a lot of crazy stuff. It'll die down a little bit because now, it's not election. Well, it's still an election season, I guess, until we figure out who the hell wins, whenever
Right.
that may be. I mean, and that's on another note. That is laughable. It truly is laughable. I know a lot of us kind of saw it coming, but Brazil was able to get their elections up under wraps. How is it that the only four states that we need to know, truly, like if we didn't need to know who was going to win governor of Idaho or who was going to be the state senator from Rhode Island, we didn't need to know that. We needed to know Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia. They called Pennsylvania super, super early in a kind of a head scratcher call, just like Arizona in 2020 to Biden. And the other four we need to know, we don't know yet. It's Friday. It's what is going to happen the next 2 days? It's the weekend. What are you doing on the weekend? I'm not working. It's the weekend. If I'm not working, am I going to put in the faith that these people are going to be doing their job? If you had the mail-in ballots, right, first, and then people show up election day and start counting, why aren't you counting the ballots that you already had first? Simple accounting, first in, first out.
Yep, I agree.
Why are they counting the election day ballots and then counting the mail-in ballots? Why are those sitting later in the back? It's there. And they'll never tell you.
We
I
know
know a lot of
why.
people. I
We know
know,
why though.
right, and that's the thing. I know a lot of people in my personal life who are very smart, or very privy, and you tell something like that, and they'll get it, but they won't grasp it. Sometimes you got to chew on things for a while. You got to really put things into perspective. If something makes you go, "That's weird. That doesn't make sense," but you can grasp it, but there's still a lot of people that won't fully get the whole picture and understand it's not just the skin of it. You got to get into the meat of what's going on into something, because if it's making you scratch your head, it's making somebody else scratch their head, but nobody wants to tell anybody. I work in an industry that's pretty bad communication, because you got grown men don't want to tell grown men they got a problem and they got to deal with something. You know what I mean? And if there's something, it translates socially too. If you've got something that you're like, man, I don't really agree, are you gonna voice it on the risk that that person is gonna come back and cancel you, or start a confrontation, or just disagree with you, that you're never going to be able to, you lose that relationship, you lose that connection. There is a lot of that risk, but you know, look at, you got to go into risk. You have to go into it, because that's how you progress. That's how you truly become progressive. If everyone didn't do anything, we'd still be, planting the same crappy potatoes and corn in villages of 150 max, all in geographical regions. But we progressed. It was risky to cross the river. It was risky to go. Okay, I'm crossing over the mountain range this spring. I'll be back by winter.
Right.
And we kind of we when you it goes back to the I forget who said it. It's one of the founding fathers. But when you sacrifice uh, liberty for security, you end up getting neither. Something like
Mm-hmm.
that. Maybe misquoting it, but that's what you're seeing a lot of, especially in our generation, because we're the generation before us, had to do 9/11, but that was a proxy war to an extent too, or it turned into one down the
Mm-hmm.
way. Might not have started out as one, but by the time we got to Iraq, it was a full on proxy war. But there was no world war. There was no mass, there was just, we had Vietnam, Desert Storm, and then Iraq. There was no massive world war catastrophe. And we've been removed for it so long, we feel like it can't happen. But I think now we're starting to see, especially as of this year, that it could happen pretty quick. Especially if there's a lot of miscommunication rolling around. Someone says the wrong thing and that story takes away. You know, look how much they've had to walk back Joe Biden, because Joe Biden has said the words nuclear Armageddon in a speech. And the press secretary's got to walk back like, no, he didn't mean that. Like, or the other one this week, he goes, we're going to cancel drilling. And then they ask her, like, oh, you're going to stop drilling? Like, what the hell? Joe Manchin's pissed at him. Like, what do you mean you're going to stop drilling? They're like, oh, it was hard of hearing. He was misquoted.
Right.
You play it back. He says, "I will cancel drilling." I mean, there's one thing to spin something, and then there's one thing to just, I don't know, put on the clown face and go out and straight up lie to the American people. bless her
Mhm.
heart, she still does it every single day. And I know he puts her in some positions sometimes where it has been hard. Like you could tell she can't even go any further. Like she'll just close her eyes, look the other way for like 5 minutes during the talk because she he said something so
Yeah.
ridiculous that they're like, all right, you gotta make sure they don't believe that he actually
Give
said
him his
that. Like,
milk.
well, yeah,
Give him a nap. Well, hey,
but
I'll
that
ask you a big. I
butterscotch
got a big
pudding.
question for you.
What's up?
And I've been hearing a ton of people ask this, and this is perfect. I know this is kind of blindsided. It's just something that come to my
It's
mind.
Friday night. That's why I wanted to do this, man. We just rolling. I just wanted to have a little bit more of a structure because last time
Yeah,
we just spitballed the whole thing.
spitball. But as a lifelong Republican, and me as a new Republican, as you can tell of the younger generation, most of them are flaming blue-haired liberals. Okay, especially the women.
Hmm.
How should a Republican of today's day go about dating women? I mean, do you recommend a Republican even date a liberal girl, or how does a
Oh
man
man,
handle
this is
that?
a good. This is a tough topic.
Because this is
It's something too that it's weird, man. For the last couple of months, this topic has just been looming.
Mhm.
It's been sitting like right. Oh, and that's why I said something on the episode you posted the other day because I was just like, man, I see this thing everywhere. And I don't know what it is. Um, I'm finally going to be an uncle next year, so like that's good news. So I guess it's just as you get older, I've got a lot of people getting married, having kids. It's crazy. Um, in 2020, I really made a point to date and not make it an issue of uh, not wanting to bring it up. Maybe I
Mhm.
brought it up a little bit too early. You know what I mean? But I'm blunt like that. I don't want to waste my time. Where I know what I'm looking for and I know what it's not going to be, and I don't want to waste the young lady's time either. Um, but now I think because people aren't paying attention and they're letting themselves fall back into routine and get distracted by things that aren't of daily importance. Daily importance is still your basic needs of shelter, food,
Food.
water, and good health.
Mhm.
You work to obtain those means, but that's still the bottom line. Um, it's crazy now because when they're getting with everyone being so distracted, and now no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to really get into how it is anymore. It may seem scary or at least too risky. You gotta at least figure it out because it helps you figure out where you want to be and what you want in a partner, right? Like
Right.
I've had times I've gone on a date and there's been a topic that comes up completely, maybe not politics, but it just all right, maybe some other things if we're not clicking on this.
I know what you're saying.
What what happens when the thermostat needs to be changed?
Yeah.
It's just it it's
Well,
important.
hey,
I
hey.
don't think
Luckily, Republican women are the hot ones usually. So it's never.
well,
or
here's the
do,
thing.
uh,
I just saw this in this week. It came out and I sent this to somebody. I said, "This is don't ask me ever again why I'm single or not dating at a family function again,
mhm.
because of unmarried women in this last election. 68% of them voted Democrat. So that's what we're up against. But hey, look, you got to know your framework, just like football. You got to know what you're up against. If you
Mhm.
don't know how big that D end is, you don't know how you're going to get around them. Or
Right.
that quarter, you don't know. You have to know what you're up against. Now, hey, we could probably figure out how we can make the 68% smaller, but at this point, there's only 32%.
Well, can you convert? Can you convert a liberal woman? Like, is that possible, or they pretty much stuck in they blue-haired ways?
Well, I think at a certain point, um, they do make a switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think a lot of people do, men and women, but pride is a thing.
All right. Mm-hmm.
And if you spent, I don't care if you're man or woman, if you spent 12 years batting down the hatches, you know, hollering about a cause, and then you turn 35 and you're like, wow, I'm supposed to be drawing out of that 401k here soon. And
That's when it gets real.
you know what I mean? Or damn, I'm still paying student loan debts. Maybe I got bamboozled a little bit by predatory loans. I don't know. Um, it does come to people,
Yeah.
and at that point, and I think because we're now in the third generation, but I believe because it's the fourth turning, it's because we're at a conclusion of a smaller cycle. We've been in this Western world, America's great, blah blah blah. I mean, you look at the conservative media and how they run it. Oh, we're a free country. We've not been a free country for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been an unfree country, but we haven't been a free country.
That is
You can't you
accurate.
can't you
Mhm.
you can't you can't gloss over it. You know what I mean? When you truly get into it. If I'm Tucker Carlson and I've got a multi-million dollar show and producing whatever, well, yeah, sure ahead. Go say whatever you want. But at the bottom of the day, when Joe Biden wants to think everyone's sitting around the kitchen table still without iPads and still talking to the family at dinner, like it's 1952 or something like that, um, they're going to be they're talking about real issues. Look what happened this time. They tried to say that abortion was the number one issue, and it was inflation
Yes.
across the board. I mean, there was even the Democrats. Now, is it bad enough right now for people to say, I will not vote Democrat anymore. I have to vote Republican? No. Shit costs more. You might have some difficulty getting specialty items and stuff like that, but I haven't seen gas lines. I haven't seen my grocery store not been able to be restocked. I haven't seen um, hospitals be overrun to the point of max capacity and overflow capacity. So, it wasn't enough. It was enough to concern people, maybe, at the top, but it wasn't anything to do down ballot. Hey, I'm going to flip and completely vote Republican or vice versa. But you don't see anybody going the other way right now. I imagine you will once, a Newsom or a Cuomo comes out and who's their shiny prize? If DeSantis is the shiny prize on the right, and the little golden boy, who's the one on the left? And it's Gavin Newsom. If I'll save your guys a little bit of time of having to try to figure out who it is. It's Gavin Newsom. He's got the pedigree and the connections and the charisma. You know what I mean? He's like an edgier Trudeau.
Right. Now I'll ask you this, Kelly, and this is sums up what we're talking about. This is a big burden for the Republicans because the Democrats have pushed society in a way where there's less marriage, less religion, more basically debauchery going on in the states. And is there any way we can turn back the clock, or is it a lost cause at this point? Is our society like the whole pro fat thing, where it's like now? Remember we were growing up and people were like trying to be fit as possible. It
Oh
seems
yeah.
like now it does not. It's a free for all. Um, what could bring us back, or is it just we're just are we just waiting on borrowed time? Like what
I,
could?
I think a little bit of both. You know what I mean? I think hard lessons are going to be learned.
Mhm.
In everyone's personal life. I can't predict truly anything. I can kind of theorize. Hey, like this, the economy might be worse, or, gas might be, but it's hard to pinpoint anything. And I feel like there truly are some hard lessons that we're going to have to realize as a nation and as a people. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Where do we want to go? We could keep the bickering. We could keep. To go on a side note, I kind of relate it to like in high school. Those guys in gym period who started bickering it in third period, and
Right.
then they got
Hmm.
math, and then a fourth period. Everyone's like, oh shit, shit's gonna go down. After school bus parking lot, and then fifth period comes around, and everyone, the whole school knows, and everyone's like, oh shit, it's going down. And then you walk outside after school, nothing happens. The guys get on their bus and they go home because no one's gonna fight at school because then everyone's gonna get suspended.
Yeah.
But everyone gets gassed up because oh shit, we're gonna see something new. We all go to school, we all sit here, we're gonna see something new and exciting. So it'll bring everybody around and rile everybody up. I forget where I was going on that beforehand.
It's a good point, though.
I was going on.
I
I
do
was just
remember
going on a
those
tangent
days.
because I was like, man, I've been waiting to use that analogy because it hits home, especially with the back and forth of the parties and how
I
they do it.
definitely.
Oh, how do we go back?
Mhm.
We can go back as long as we recognize stuff. You know what I mean? Because think about it. If civilization is advanced over thousands and thousands and thousands of years, there had to have been setbacks
Right.
that brought people back to a point where, hey, we were in caves and then we built huts and then all our huts fell and then we went back into the caves and then so you can go back. I think we're closer to going back to Stone Age due to a number of multitude different things. I mean, you could have an EMP, a Carrington event
Yeah.
type thing happen. You could have an attack of an ISIS terrorist type attack on a power grid system. There's a lot of things, it could a hurricane, an earthquake, anything. So you could go back for probably quicker than you could go forward. The point of no return is once we allow people to take control of our minds, when we
Uh-huh.
allow the complete
I agree.
end
Mhm.
of free thought, Neuralink, chips, and stuff like that. We're not at that point. There's people that want
Mhm.
to do it. People want to say it's conspiracy theories. There's people testing that things. Are they going to use it for nefarious purposes or not? I hope not. But if we have to be aware that it can happen so that it won't happen. And if we allow us to cross that threshold, yes, that is the point of no return. Because now you're not you're transhumanism. You have crossed over. You are no longer a human being. There is no longer a human race. It is it's Pandora's box. We don't know. We've never seen the other side of that.
Mm.
And if we keep blindly running away, being materialistic and going after buy next product, buy next product, buy next product, here's new thing, we lose the capability of running the stuff of old that we already have. We're told here's new thing, but never explained it, so we don't know how to work that thing. So you're giving up if you don't know how to do. If you're giving up the information, you're giving up the power of your own choice. And in order to change, you've got to recognize it first, right? Go
Right.
back to football. If we're running four seams, and I keep forcing it to the outside seam in cover three, and the guy keeps breaking it up, and I go, well, what's going on? I can't be mad at it because I've got to diagnose what the defense is. Oh, it's in cover three. I got to throw the inside seams, not the outside, or
Right.
maybe run him a different route. Yada yada yada. But you have to diagnose it. You have to, and then understand it. Not just at a like truly marinate, let things wash over you and digest it. Read. The biggest thing you can do is read. If you read and you're well informed, that's half the battle right there. Then you can see, okay, hey, other people are acting this way, and this isn't phasing them, or I'm not letting it phase me, and then people are looking at me. Oh, it's not phasing him. I ain't gonna let it phase me. And that's where you can buck the hive mind, kind of turn it against itself, I guess.
Mhm.
where you still are tapping into that, like people following the leader, but it's just for so long we've only had one way. Different leaders, changes, Bill Clinton, Bush, Trump, Biden, Obama, all of them, but the same system. They're still feeding the same way. The only one that went against it is Donald Trump.
Yeah.
See, as long as you have him around, he gives people hope, but he's just a vessel for the movement and the policy. If we focus as conservatives and just as populists as a whole, if you focus on the policies, at some point in populist movements, it doesn't matter who's leading. It's a party, it's a movement of the people. It's the people leading itself. It's a
Right.
self, it becomes almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, the fact that they keep attacking the leader shows you that it is getting under their skin. He does live in their mind rent free, and the reason why he does is because he emboldened the people. He allowed the people to say, "Hey, we think you're full of shit,"
Right.
and actually not just say it, in the confines of their home. You saw a CNN reporter at a rally, they tell you, "Hey, CNN sucks. CNN sucks." Like he empowered people because he didn't self-censor. So he allowed the people to stop self-censoring.
Hmm.
And just because you don't censor yourself doesn't mean everything's going to go over, you know, uh, flowers and rainbows and be fine and dandy. Now the real work starts. Now we can talk about stuff and debate and present ideas
Right.
without just saying I have an idea, they suck, they don't have an idea. Because I mean, Obama did it in Pennsylvania. Tried to, and it's an age old tactic that the Democrats use. They don't have a plan. The Republicans don't have a plan. We do have a plan. First off, how do you combat inflation? You make sure your energy needs are sustained because that runs your whole society. If your energy rates are out of whack because you're not producing anything and you have to borrow it from everybody, well, then everything's going up from there because that's how you power everything. So that's just one start, but they'll dismiss everything without debate. And anybody who tries to just completely write you off without really getting into or giving you a full answer
Yes.
is either if you I like to see the good in people at first, maybe they're just misinformed, incompetent, a little bit ignorant, who knows? Or there's malice involved. And the more that's brought to light in these different stories that we see, they may seem crazy, but there's a method behind the madness somewhere, and it's up to the people to figure that out for themselves. No, there is no there is no Donald Trump. He's not going to be a savior. He's more of a buffer. He allowed them, hey, they're not taking all our money. They're not telling us what to do all the time. They're not putting regulations that allow us not to work the way that we need to work to provide living. He's more of a buffer than an actual. Um, I don't want to use the word weapon
Mm.
method for to
Method.
be to be safe. Look a little bit on the more politically correct side, but it won't matter. It won't matter if we take the responsibility on ourselves to take care of our nation, not our democracy, not our. It's a nation. This is it is that's the bottom line of it. And a nation is a nation of people. The best thing about America is every other nation in the world, you could go and point out people by physical features and go, you're X, you're Y, you're. Only in America was that established to be. It's a nation of people. What people? All people. It doesn't matter. It's still written, just because some corrupt politician tries to tell us, you know, it's not, or take us away or divide us, doesn't mean that the Constitution still doesn't say that all people have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
If one person says it and a collective says, no, 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 we're doing this way, it's null and void. There's no argument. There's nothing to discuss. So, but look at the FTX stuff because that's going to be big, especially now that the election's over and they can finally say that, we're in a recession
That's right.
since
Well, you
July.
guys.
I was
Well,
surprised. I was surprised that they haven't come out with. That's what I thought the story post-election was going to be. That we were going to wake up and they're going to be like, "Yep, we're in a recession. We've been in one for a while. Sorry to misinform you, but we really need you to vote blue."
yeah.
Hey, did you see the state senator or state legislator from Pennsylvania was elected, but he died last month? Yeah.
What? Dang,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So Democrats are now at a point of vote blue no matter who.
Dang, it's getting crazy, guys. Now we'll wrap this up, but I'll leave y'all with one nugget from me, guys. When they canceled Trump, some of y'all laughed and thought it was funny. I'm gonna tell y'all something. With this whole Kanye situation and black community, I know a lot of y'all are now starting to wake up and see how Democrats and other types of people are using cancel culture as a weapon. Guys, if anything starts at the top of a hill, it's only going to roll down the hill and get bigger. And by the time it gets to y'all, I'm just going to tell you, black people, by the time it gets to y'all, the ball is so big that it's going to knock y'all off your feet. And I'm going to tell you, these dirty games that they're playing against Trump and they're playing against these people, they're going to use it on you soon. Cancel culture is kind of not taken as serious as it really is, but it's really a weapon that's dirty. Okay, you say the wrong thing and you go to school for 8 years and you get your dream job and everything's set up and you're cozy and you tweet out, "Hey, I support Trump," or say something truthful, because they only get mad when you say the truth. They never get mad when you say a lie. If I say, "Hey, Kelly, yeah, Joe Biden, he's a great president," obviously a lie. But if I say that, they'll never get mad at that. But if I tell the truth, because the truth is now taboo in the United States. See, when you say the truth, that's when it gets under their skin. That's when you show up in HR, the 50-year-old lady pops up and says, "We need to have a talk." I'm just trying to tell y'all what's going on. All right, we don't waste our time coming over here talking about this just for our health. I'm telling you what's going on. And this is a game that's being played that in the history of civilization, with the advent of the internet and the advent of social media, that's never been played before, and that's mind control. You vote Democrat because you want your job. You need to support the liberals because guess what? Your daughter is a flaming blue-haired psychopath. And if you want a relationship with her, well, you got to change your values. I want to be cool. I want to be hip. I want my family to love me. I want this, guys, at this point, the conservatives are the rebels. The conservatives are the people who are actually the ones who are taking you in the right direction. And that's backwards. We're not talking about going back to I just want to go back to 2012. Okay, I just want to
go backwards. I just want to shake off all the the dead weight,
the dumb stuff,
the stuff that pulls you back, the stuff that actively pulls you back. It ain't about going back or forward. It's
I would love
perfecting the now.
That is true. That is true. But I would love if we could just all openly say, let's start here. Democrats, I'll do y'all a deal. Can y'all just have it to where we can say what we want? How we really, it says, "How do you feel?" on Facebook, I believe. It says, can we actually say how we feel, or do we lose our job? Or do we lose our page? Can we actually, we're not saying extreme stuff. Of course you can't say the crazy. We just want to say, hey, this is how I feel about X, Y, and Z. Can we say that without getting fact checked by random teenagers who are probably like 19, and you basically told them anytime something is against the agenda to fact check it? You never fact check Joe Biden's amazing. You never fact check that. Okay. So I'm just saying, can we just play it fair this election? That was the whole point of me coming out and bringing him on, is because this is important. If Joe Biden wins this next election, if he runs and if he wins, I'm guaranteeing y'all something. And I'm going to tell a secret that Kelly's not going to tell you. Guys, the military is Republican. The gun owners are Republican. The men, I don't care what race, are mostly Republican, whether they vote Democratic or not. In the mind, men are Republican. If the Republicans really see how much power they wield, it's going to be a bad day. And you need to be on the right side of this. All right. Now, I'm not wishing anything. I don't think the Capitol thing that happened was a good thing at all. But that should have told you that the alpha males and the people that actually make a difference and will stand up, we're not talking about people who are looting and burning. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the people that actually have families and are being affected by y'all's nonsense. They're not happy. So just give us a fair election, and let's start there. Republicans lose, I'm sure Kelly be fine with that if it's fair. If it's fair, y'all choose Joe Biden. We're going to ask why. But if y'all want Joe Biden, we can't beat that.
But don't try to tell me it was 81 million votes, though. You know what
right.
I mean?
Don't give us dead people.
If he got 64 million and won, I would say, you know what, by golly, maybe we just got to be a little bit better on messaging.
He got more than Obama.
But you're going to tell me he's going to go on Charlemagne the God and say, if you got a problem, figure it out. If you're, for me, a white man, or another man, a white man, then you're not black and got more than the half black guy? Come on. Come on. Make it believable.
Sniffing children.
Make it believable.
Make it believable.
Listen, the thing is about it is, you know, I was a conservative growing up, but it wasn't until things started getting out of hand that I started noticing things. You know what I mean? So if you could have just kept making believable lies, nobody would have, people wouldn't be upset right now. People would not be upset right now because they believe that the economy is great. They would believe that Russia's losing today, you know, or that banning oil is great for the climate and we're going to be switching over completely green. Tell me a lot, but make it believable.
Make it believable.
What are you going to make the green energy out of? Oh, we don't have anything built up yet. Okay, so you're going to turn the lights off and not have anything to turn them on. And then who are you going to blame when the lights go off? Oh, Russia, a white man, climate change. Like, go through the list of usual suspects and figure out which one sticks. You know, when the economy sucks, like Russia.
Mm.
Russia didn't do anything. I thought they were losing. They're hightailing it out of cursing right now. But I guarantee you by Monday or Tuesday, we'll see some kind of like, Russia's got new offensive in new areas. It's like, I thought they were just retreating. Oh, it was a battle tactic maneuver because it's war. Like, that's another thing. They think we're stupid. And I'm looking into my thing. I'm talking to the listeners, if there's anyone that showed up to listen to me today. They think we're stupid. They think they could tell you that we will cancel the Nord Stream pipeline by any means necessary. And then it blows up, but it wasn't us. They'll tell you right to your face. And when you figure something out, they're not going to come around and go, okay, yeah, you were right. You've got to take that information and then plan accordingly. Make
That's
your
true.
next moves. If everything's so hip hop and street related right now, right? You got to know what you're doing. There are snakes in the grass, so to speak,
It's
because
definitely true.
it's a fucking swamp,
Hmm. Now
and
we'll get out
they're
of here.
lurking.
Yeah, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you, Kelly. 100%. I
Hell
hope
yeah,
y'all got
man!
some good.
Appreciate you having me on. Anytime you want, man. We can get it at it.
No doubt, man. Well,
Hopefully it's not
anyway,
election talk, because I just,
yeah.
election is election time. Well, give me some good stuff. Give me some crazy, throw me a
Well, I
bone,
got a
aliens
lot
or
of
something
questions
like
for you.
that. No, I'm talking
Yeah.
about like the current event stuff. Throw me a bone, UFO sighting or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Make it interesting for Christmas.
Yeah, we'll talk.
I
We'll
want to
talk.
talk about
Yeah.
Trump or DeSantis for the next 18 months.
That's true. That's true.